In the global landscape nowadays, when you graduate, you will probably need connections no matter what field or sector you're going into on a global basis. We want to go beyond the classroom. We're not going to learn everything by staying in Cambridge. We have to get out there. It's not just what you learn in the classroom, but it's also how do you apply it in the real world. We look at climate, we look at energy, we look at aging. These are important issues. And having the ASEAN region as a testbed for some of these not only helps improve the region, but the global region. And I think that's a legacy that I feel this office will have in the years to come. And we're just so proud to be part of this. It positions us for many things we wouldn't be able to do without your support.